What is up, guys? Welcome back to yet another brand new Major Brain gaming video. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day as always. Behind me is my new cabinet, so I hope you like what I've done with that. It's gradually getting better, this setup, and getting some more nice items behind me of what I personally like to collect. So that will be updated over time with various different games added and stuff, and perhaps we'll do a collection video. If you guys are interested in that stuff, let me know in the comments down below. But today we're talking about PlayStation 5 Pro's performance, and I'm going to be using somebody else's video, so shout out to Iceberg Tech. This guy has made a phenomenal video that I didn't see for a long time, and this was about 6 months ago that he posted this video, or back in March or whatever, and it's really good. Essentially what he does is he uses the closest of what we have rumored at the moment GPU, which is an RX 7800 XT, and he uses that, which is a 33.5 T-flop GPU. Now this is something that won't necessarily be the same as the PS5, because we've got to remember that not only is this a PC, this is brute forcing its way to this power. We're going to see a lot of games specifically optimized, especially Sony's own first party games, optimized for PS5 Pro. So it could go either way with this GPU. You could actually see the PC version be far better than what the PS5 Pro is, and on the other hand, you might see the PS5 Pro be better because games are going to be specifically optimized for the hardware, much like how Sony's own games on their own PlayStation 5 tend to outpunch the equivalent cards on PC because of specific optimizations. He also uses CPU-wise a Ryzen 5 7500F. This is a base clock of 3.7 gigahertz, which is going to be above, but it's only 6 cores, but it can go up to 5 gigahertz. So the CPU is going to be better here, but do bear in mind, he is not doing a test for high frame rates. He's doing a test for what you can get at 30 FPS or 60 FPS, which is naturally going to strain the GPU more, which is the point of this test. I highly encourage you to go and watch Iceberg Tech's video. We're not going to be watching this video, we're going to be just going through it, and I'm going to be showing you what you could expect in the games he's tested, because I think this video is fantastic. I will link this video down in the description below. Please go and watch it. It is incredibly well made, and he talks a lot about how he came to these conclusions. And you will see that PS5 is actually PS5 Pro, sorry, is actually going to be pretty good. So what he does is, as you can see here, this is the current expectations. You can run the PlayStation 5 version of Last of Us Part 1, 30 FPS at native 4K, or 60 FPS at native 1440p. With this PC version that he's got, you can expect an average of 55.7 FPS at 4K console equivalent settings, which is absolutely insane and a very nice upgrade. Bear in mind, again, this equates to none of Sony's new AI upscaling they're going to be using with things like frame generation and PSSR, their own upscaling tech. So you could easily see a boost above this, and you could see this get to a locked 60 and maybe above, like we have many games are unlocked. Now, Resident Evil 4, he does not necessarily show the console settings here. He just shows this graph on screen, as you can see here. This is Series S, so we won't worry about that. But again, you can see that you can get 62.5 on average at 4K max presets. This is maxing out the game at 4K with 62.5 FPS on average without using something like Sony's AI PSSR upscaling. Horizon Forbidden West, you can see that you can get 30 FPS at 4K, or you can get 60 FPS at 1800p and DRS checkerboard rendering, which also already looks fantastic. It's absolutely insane. Now, in this game, again, this is perhaps more of a CPU bottleneck. You can expect on medium settings 58.2 FPS on average, which is very good. Again, not using any upscaling tech at all. And I think here he does a test. Let me just show it here. He does a test for native 4K here, 49.4 FPS. Again, this is the card brute forcing its way. There is no sort of optimization. Again, people don't realize that optimization is very huge, hence why PS5 consistently punches above its weight in hardware of a lot of the resolutions of Sony's own first-party games. Ratchet & Clank, this one's not such a big improvement, but 30 FPS 1800p to 4K. Performance RT mode is 1080p to 1440p. I'm sorry for the beeping behind me, there's a lorry reversing apparently. At 4K settings on this PC equivalent hardware, you can see he's expecting to get, if we actually get to this point in the video, if my PC stops slowing down, you can get 47.6 at 4K. So it's going to push it to that 40 FPS. That may be enough for something like frame generation to kick in on this console, just to give it a bit of a boost. But again, Ratchet & Clank already looks absolutely insane. If you put it on max settings, you get 23 FPS, which we're not going to worry about. Excuse me, Helldivers 2, I'm going to skip through. We can see that, sorry, what is this game? Alan Wake 2, 30 FPS. It's a 30 FPS game, 1270 to 2160p at 4K on PlayStation 5, and we can see with this PC, you can get 4K with FSR at 60 FPS. This proves that this game could now push a game like Alan Wake 2 to 60 FPS, and again, this is just FSR. This isn't even PSSR's own upscaling. They would not be making PSSR if it was worse than FSR. Like, they are doing this for a very specific reason, and people are treating Sony like they're stupid at the moment, and I think they're going to surprise quite a few people with the system about how this power could actually be implemented. So, RT mode in Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty is 30 FPS on the console, and you can see the RT of 4K is 42.7 FPS. There's various other tests you did with reflections and various different other stuff. You can see it gets to above 30 FPS, but again, it's still looking, too much for the PS5 Pro if you're going to actually push this console to be at 4K. Like, it's a little native 4K with all these RT techs. Like, it's not going to work that well. Performance mode, obviously already on the console, can go up to 1440p. Dragon's Dogma is a no-no. He's saying that absolutely not. There is CPU limits here, so that's something we can't expect. But again, we have to wait and see just to see what the actual upscaling tech is going to be like. But the reason I'm making this video is for two reasons. One, for you to go and watch this guy's video, because it is very good to get an idea of what you could expect. He does go into further games like testing Starfield and stuff like that, which he worked out that you could absolutely get 60 FPS on this console very locked. So it's really interesting to see what other games are going to look like too. So I recommend you go watch this video for one, and two, also this kind of just shows that this console is not all about specs on paper. Yes, there might not be that many upgrades to stuff like the CPU in PS5 Pro, but you have to wait for the upscaling tech. The GPU is being bottlenecked on the PS5, not just the CPU. And what have we learned from Nvidia and things like frame generation? Is that because the 4090 is so much more powerful than any CPU we have on the market, the CPU is always the bottleneck on PC. They came up with their own tech like frame generation to boost frame rates because the CPU is holding it back on PC. This is going to be something similar to what we see on PlayStation 5 Pro. But people who don't believe me will have to wait and see, and I will be doing testing on the PlayStation 5 Pro when I get it in my hands, because I'm looking forward to actually getting that console for myself. But this thing is going to be a decent upgrade for people who have 4K displays with VRR, with 120Hz modes, because again, there are a lot of games like Spider-Man 2 that already has an unlocked mode on the PS5 now that already runs above 60 FPS, that we can increase that resolution, keep the same frame rate because the GPU is now more powerful, because GPU is bottlenecked in Spider-Man 2, and we can see that we're going to get higher frame rates in Spider-Man 2 because of things like potentially frame generation. That's already in the PC version, by the way, so they're just going to be able to pull that across to their own PSSR and then have higher resolutions in game. This is going to be an improvement, and you've seen that Alan Wake 2 is something that can be possible on this device, potentially up to 60 FPS. We don't even know the advantages to PSSR. That's all I'm saying. Wait and see what we can expect from things like PSSR. This device could be better than people are expecting. So I'm looking forward to it. Leave a like on this video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe. Do go and watch Iceberg Tech's video. Link down below in the description. It's very, very eye-opening to what this PS5 Pro could actually be like. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in future videos. Bye-bye for now.